Well, we reached our 61.8%, and yesterday we noted that the market had higher volume, but the market didn't move anywhere. So obviously that was sellers coming into the market yesterday, and they are showing up today. And in fact, you know, the move up here in a lot of stocks was also on lower volume as well. So if we take a look at let's just have a look at some stock here for a moment. Let me just bring this in here. It's stock down here. It is. There it is. Okay, Amazon's got some volume, so we could see pretty much moving up into this space here. We're getting lower volume. It'll be interesting to see today, the move down that we have today, to see how the volume stacks up at the end of the day. We know that the Dow Jones is quite weak, so we'll see increasing volume there, and maybe the Nasdaq as well. But it'll be interesting to see what actually happens with stock in terms of volume. So with the S&P here, there's a variety of, there's a bullish count and there's a bearish count, and I would only turn bullish here if we got a classic trading levels pattern on that 4,000. So that would mean the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then an ABC pattern. So there's a process that is not here just yet. So in this particular pattern here, if that's the 4,000, we're just here at the moment reacting from this. So there's a long way to go before we can actually confirm that it's bullish. Okay, so we'll look at both sides of the situation, and I think I'll go to the S&P 400. Just to explain this in a very simplistic way, because it's quite simple for the bull and the bear. Now you just need to get your head around this a little bit. So we're on 150 ticks, so it's quite small, but this is the low here. Don't worry about it being wave 2 or anything here. We just really want to have a look at this particular pattern to the upside here, because we can view it in two different ways. Down here is really quite sort of simple to understand. We can see that the move here, we can count this up as 5 waves. A bit hard to do that on the futures market. And then we can count this as 5 waves down here. Right, we can clearly see this as some type of ABC pattern here, and then we can also count this as 5 waves down as well. So it makes sense to look at this as either wave 1 or wave A, and then the A, the B and the C here for wave 2 or B. So this particular trend up here, it counts as 5 waves here, counts as 5 waves here, and I've pulled this apart and it counts as 5 waves here. So we could view it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I mean, it's a big 5th wave here, so we could probably even view it as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here, and a 3rd wave here, and a 4th wave coming into play, and then continuing to move up. So we don't want to jump the gun too quickly on any of this. Like I said, when we get to this current top on the S&P at 61.8 at the 4,000 here, we just need to be a little bit patient here, and it will reveal the next move will reveal itself. We just need to, we don't want to get caught up in the guessing game and putting money into the guessing game, because you're just going to lose that for sure. So on the bullish side of things, we can look, well, let's look at the bearish side first. The A wave, the B wave here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, 4 C of 2 here. So that could be a top. That could be a serious top, and we could, you know, come down and make new lows based on that. This move that's come down here, we could view that in a bearish light if you wanted to. But as I mentioned yesterday, one of the reasons that I thought that we should stay with the bullish side for a moment is because this top here is really close to this top here on the S&P 400. New York Compositive Index, for example, that's clearly way above this particular top here, you know. So there are a lot of other markets that have taken out that top there. So that's kind of interesting in that point, and yeah, we did talk about that yesterday. We know that the Dow Jones is weak, and we know that the Nasdaq's pretty weak. But at the same time, you know, we've got stocks, which we'll be looking at, like Microsoft, that have got a very clear 5-wave structure up here. You know, there's no question about it. So, yeah, I think that we need to go up further, but obviously we need to be mindful of things as well. So, one of the other points too is that in this case we can look at it as 1 and 2 here, and then 3 up here, and 4 here, and 5 up here. Now this is quite interesting because this as a wave 4 pullback here. This is what we're seeing in the DAX. I'm seeing it in the Australian index. I'm seeing it in Forex, in FX. With the pound and the euro and so on. So this is quite a common pattern to have this as wave 4 here. So on the S&P 500, we are also viewing this as wave 1 to the upside here. But I think there's a good case to put wave 4 here and then wave 5 up here, which will be quite interesting because the move back here as a corrective move here and then pushing up here to give us that first high above the level. That's really what we're kind of hoping for in a way on the bullish side of things, you know, to push up like that. So that would give us the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC, and then move up from that point, and that would give us this particular pattern here. So we'll see if how this pullback plays out. But anyway, I won't. We can talk more about that in the indice video, but I just thought that would be a nice little starter. So with Apple here, I've got this here with a C of Y here having a low in place. But we can also look at this being bearish as well. We can look at a lot of the stocks that have been quite low down here, the Googles, the Microsofts and so on, to be bearish. But at the same time, because they're displaying, well, a reasonable 5-wave structure up here, then we should be looking for further upside with these as well. So we just really focus on the pullback. Now, it's quite clear that in a lot of cases, we're getting 5 waves down here. In other cases, we can see it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and so on. So there's the variety of ways we could look at this. And I think that, I mean, there's no point in buying now, and there's no point in selling at the low here either. So I think that we just need to you just need to work out if you're going to be long or short. I mean, in the bigger pitch here, I'll be looking for this ABC pattern here. And even when we get the ABC pattern in here, I'll still need to look for the first little impulse wave to the upside here to you know, to validate a reasonable trade setup to the upside here. Short traders can look to short this here as an ABC pattern here. So as it moves up here, it won't be in a straight line, it'll be in 3 waves. I'm over dramatizing it in size, but shorting it under the B wave here, especially if you can count 5 waves down on this side here, because if it's going to come down further, you could get lucky and it could, you know, come down a long way. You know, maybe we could look at this as an ABC for the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave, and that gives a bit of equality between the A wave and the C wave here. Not a lot, but better than sort of what it is now in this instance. So yeah, there's a bit to discuss here at the moment, but our first job was looking for this pullback for this top coming into play. So we've got that on the S&P, and we've obviously got that on the stocks. The stocks are creating for the S&P and the Nasdaq and so on. So, as we did yesterday, we started on 5,000 ticks and then we went to 1,000 ticks. So 1,000 ticks is the bearish count, and then we can go to 100 as well. And the 100 ticks is just my workspace, so it could have a bearish or bullish outcome on it. But even as a bearish case here, what we're actually looking for, it's really the same as the bullish case. So the bearish case is looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, then topping, then coming down, right? The bullish case would give us 5 waves up, have a correction, and then move up higher at that point. So there's a long way to go before we can figure these things out. Okay, well, this is a slightly different bearish case, but what I need to also do here is put 1 and 2 here as well. So with Apple here, we know that got that top in quite nicely, I think, in most markets. I think that we're close anyway, and we know that we weren't going to be going long yesterday because we've seen higher volume in some of the markets anyway. That suggested that there'll be a little bit of a turning point coming into play. It does appear to be like an impulse wave coming down here, so we need to sort of investigate this a little bit. So in one way or another, I don't know how far we're going to come down. I mean, that's, if we counted this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, then this is the 50-60% retracement level here. But really we're looking for 3 waves to this space. If we got 5 waves down to this space here, then we would have an issue at that point. So let's just imagine that for a moment. So if we call that wave 1 and 2 coming into play now, and then we got a wave 3 down here, and then we got a wave 4 and a wave 5 to the 61.8%, well, then would have to go respect that and look at being in a bearish picture at that point. We would have an ABC back to supply levels, and then would have another 5 down. So if that was the case, we'll be looking to, if we get 5 here, we'll be looking to short the 50-60% back and this low, and draw lines through here, and move in as much as we can over this side based on that 5-wave structure there. So we'll see if we get, I mean, I'm expecting a 3-wave thing, but obviously we all can be wrong. And if we do get 5, then we'll do this, so we'll also be looking for the long trade setup at this point when we get those 3 waves here as well. So we'll be looking at that. As I mentioned, I thought Wednesday and Thursday would be the swing days in the market. So hopefully we can look at going long on the Friday and the Monday with these. We'll see how we go. So we just really, the priority one is trade setups, and we use the Elliott and the trading levels and volume and indicators to guide us in the right direction. So let's just go to the 100 ticks here and check on this. So we'll need a bit more data. That's enough there. I just really wanted to have a look at this move a little bit closer in here. So it seems pretty impulsive to me. The wave 3 here looks a little bit short. That's 5 waves. That's 5 waves, but that's overlapping that. So it's a bit difficult to call that 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and then coming down for 5 here. So yeah, we could come down a bit further. It could be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then a 3rd and 4th wave here. So let me just pull this apart a bit further. 38%, yeah, so it's going to be something like that. So if I could just label this, we'll have a look at some of the others as we go as well, and we'll be picking the trade setup tomorrow, not so much today. Today we're just, like yesterday, shooting the breeze, going through certain things. That would be one, I don't know if this to there, what's that, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so yeah, I need to look at that a bit closer. Looks like the 1 to here, and then 2, then 1 and 2. That will be all the 3rd wave, 4th, 5th. So that's all of that. Just talking to myself. and that with the fourth, I wonder if I can get that fourth and fifth in here. I don't know if I've got the third or the fourth in here. Not that it matters too much at the moment, but there should be there should be something like this to come, something like this, and then it's really, there's going to be some sort of rally here. It's this rally that you're looking for at that point. Let's have a look at some of the others and we'll try to sort of get a bit of a consensus on that. This is Amazon here, of course, and we're on the 5,000 tick, and we'll have a look at it. I was having a look at Yahoo charts. It's quite interesting. On their daily chart, at least, they don't have this is a low here. So it's the intraday charts that have this as the low. On the daily chart, it's got this as a low here. And that's why I've got the wave 3 here, just thinking that, you know, could I have a wave 4 here and then a wave 5 up here for the 1 and the 2? So I'm just, and then have the ABC and moving up. So I've got a bit of work to do here first. I'll just see how this move over the Wednesday, Thursday play out. It's doing everything we expected it to do. We just need to, you know, when things start, you just don't know what they are most of the time. And if you're patient, then allowing them to mature, once they mature, then you can get a better idea of what's what. But we do, even from this low here, we do have a nice 5 impulse wave to the upside here. So that's why I'm thinking that we still got further to go up here on all of these, you know. But yeah, I thought that was interesting on the Yahoo charts, you know. On the intraday, they had the breakdown lower on their new beta chart, which I was just checking out. But on their daily chart, they had this as the low here. So kind of made me think about, you know, what I've got up here. Let's just have a look at 1,000 ticks. So yesterday, I think it was there was this chart, Microsoft and Google, because we had a bit of a weird pullback here. I wasn't sure if we're going to have this as a top or we get one more top for those 3 markets. So we end up getting that other move up here. But it still doesn't really add up very well, you know, because it's pretty straight. All of this is as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here is pretty straightforward. It just gets a bit messy from this point onwards. But I'll take that high and we'll look at this coming down for wave A and a B and a C wave coming down here. Obviously at 95 there's going to be good support here. So we'll just see how this, I mean, in the bullish weekly cycle, we would normally be looking at Thursday afternoon to shore up and start to look for trade setups on the long side into Friday. And if Friday closes strong, well, then Monday follows through. And then that sort of follows through into other countries as well, wherever you live in the world. I mean, the thing is, if it's happening in an indice, if it's happening in the stock here, then it's going to be happening in the US indices. And if it's happening in those indices on an intraday basis, then it's going to happen in Australia, Japan, Hong Kong, Europe, UK, you know, on their indices as well on an intraday basis. So you just got to kind of figure that out a little bit. Let's just go into 100 ticks here. Rightio. So, well, that looks like 5 waves to that point. And then we've got this move and this move and this move here. So these are a little bit short, but we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, I guess, in that case. This low here does give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So it just doesn't finish very nicely here. I mean, like I said yesterday, it'd be better if I put it over to here. If that spike wasn't here, right? If that little spike wasn't here, then I could go 1, A, B, C for 2 here, 3, 4, 5. I look at all of that as the third wave from here as 1, 2, 3, 4, third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. That's what I mean, that's the way I think, you know. I'm a bit philosophical when it comes to, you know, gnarly spikes like that. But either way, we're patient. We did all the right things and we found that top. We didn't want to go long. We don't go long in front of a big number anyway. And now we've got this here. So I can see that's 5 waves there. So it's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll get that ABC pattern here now. But if it does drop here lower, then we'll have to look at this as 1 and 2, okay? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave to come down. So it's just not quite finished yet. It's not a beautiful 5-wave structure with an extension in the third wave, so to speak, you know. But if this moves back up, say above here, right, then you know the B wave has started. I mean, it's possible to look at this the other way around too and look at this as the top here, then the A wave here, and A, B, and C for the B wave here, and down for the C, and then we'll head up here. But even if it ran away on us and headed up here somewhere, we still wouldn't chase it because we still need that. We still need this. We still need a pattern across that particular level there to get set up to go further at that point. So, you know, it's not going to go very far at that point. Okay, so if it takes that top out there, then that's all of wave A here. Otherwise, it will still be down here for that, and this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But even the fact that's going up now and overlapping that, probably that we got that low in or very close to it. I'll leave that with you. But what we want to be is we want to be down here eventually. You could short the B wave if you wanted to, but don't overdo it because the risk is high at this point. And Nvidia here. So Nvidia, got to watch Nvidia. I mean, it can just do its own thing outside the rest of the market area. We've been counting it up as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then up for wave 5 here. It could certainly go higher, but even so, if it went higher, it wouldn't be going very far, you know, around this and also this number here as well. So, I mean, it looks like I can put it as wave 1 and 2 here, and then a third wave here, then an ABC for the fourth, and a fifth wave up here for this. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. When I go to the intraday, it kind of counts okay as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here. But when I sort of view it here in a philosophical sense, I can see that it's got space to just have a little correction here and little ABC, and then push up into this space. But I'd still need a decent correction. I need to be outside of this trend. This trend's got to complete. It needs to rebalance, trade set up, and then off we go again. You know, I mean, obviously, if you're an investor, it doesn't make much difference. You know, if you're trading for, you know, building, well. You know, there's swing trading, so this, well, basically we're swing trading really. I've never really used that word, but we're just, you know, we're looking for swings in the market, and we're looking for this swing, and then we'll trade that swing, you know. Obviously, in a long-term investor that's holding something for 20 years is a completely different thing as well. So this could be counted in different ways. We could look at it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, but tying it in with the rest of the market would be the right thing to do. We're on 5k tick here. We'll go to 1 tick, 1,000 ticks, and this is the bearish count, right? So the bearish count on the 1,000 ticks is an A and a B and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up for 5 here. So that would be a top at that point. So this little move down here is impulsive, so there'll be 3 of those. I mean, like an A, this is impulsive, so there'll be an A wave, a B wave back up, and a C wave down here. So you can see here that this makes here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and pull back in here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and check that a bit closer on the 100. So this is the more bullish count here, which I kind of prefer this count, where we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, then 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, fourth, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we pretty much nailed that top in place yesterday, so all that's good, and we can see that we've got an impulse wave to the downside. B waves can get a little bit, they're a bit like wave 4s sometimes. They can be simple or they can be complex, so you can always look for the ABC, and that's always the starting point, but also keep in mind that they can get a bit complicated as well. Now, this could also be a wave 4 not pulling back that much here again as well. I mean, as a wave 2, it would pull much lower. So we'll just keep an eye on how this plays out here. So, I mean, as a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, it's okay, but I can see that we could put this here as a wave 1 here, and then that would make this a wave 4 over here for this. So there's a couple of different ways to play it out. We don't have a lot of information on what this correction is going to look like. It's just in its early stages, you know. So we'll just be a bit patient and watch it, and there's nothing really to do today. It wasn't anything to do yesterday, not a lot to do today. You could short that B wave down here. I wouldn't overdo it. Just if you're bored, you can do that, because you'll be trading against the trend, so you need to half your position size at least when you're doing taking on challenges against the trend. So meta platforms here, as you know, we're looking also for a short-term top, and we can see that it's popped outside of that trend line now, so that's good. I mean, I've got this as 1 and 2 and 3. I've got this as an impulse wave here. I think that that would be a bit of a consensus if you put a few Elliott people in the room. The thing that's not set in stone is that this could be an A wave here, or a W, and this could be well, not, yeah, I suppose it could be, but at least an A and a B wave here as well for this. So it's the same with this little move up through the top here. I think that we need to expect this to pull back into this space here. I just want to see how it sits across the 130, because this is all doing typical stuff around this particular level here. Obviously there's supply over here, we understood that. That's going to show up here. We're going to see, you know, some consolidation here. Once again, we just really need to chill on this. The move up here, we can look at that as being bearish or bullish. In both cases, it's pretty much the same thing for the short term. Here, this is obviously the bearish count. We're on 1K here, 1K, so an A and a B and a C wave up here for that. That's possible to look at it like that. So we'll just see how what this offers in the turn here for this. We're also looking at this on 100 and also 10, I think, as well. So I'll just bring in some more data here just to, yeah, okay, I remember this from yesterday. So yesterday we were trying to figure out this top here. It didn't really give us this extra high over here. We had this as wave 4, and we're looking for one more move up. So it hasn't really cleared the pathway up here for this, and this is where you've got to kind of be a little bit careful, because this could be some sort of A wave, B wave, and C wave down to this point. But I'm taking it as a bit of a top. But it'll be interesting to see. We could see that weakness coming into the market. But yeah, so it looks like an impulse wave down. It's certainly slowing down into the end of the session here. I don't know if it's going to drop down further. The levels will be important here, 32 and 33, somewhere there. 31, 32 and 33 on top of group 1 here of minor degree, so we'll just give that a bit of weight. So yeah, we can always expect a bounce coming down off this level here, so that will come back up into 35 something or other there. Look, it might go down a bit further. I haven't really pulled it apart, but basically you're looking for a move like this, and that would be a short trade under there. Netflix. So Netflix, we were looking for this top, and we hadn't really pulled the intraday apart that much, but I did do it a few days ago. I'm not going to worry about it today. This one should be pulled back to this number more so here, rather than low to high here, pulling back 50-60%. It should do that, but I mean, it could do two things. It could do this and that. They're the two things. So we'll start to look at it tomorrow. We'll pull it apart and see what we've got at that point. But what it does do, when it does drop back down a bit more here, it will leave this top here exposed, and that becomes the long trade at that point. That would be the safe trade at that point. But obviously we want to bring it down to the B wave over here, and then if it's going to pull down further, then we're going to be working the trades we want to get a couple of trades in this below the level here, and then we start to build in above the level in 10, 20 and 30 here, and then we can add on 50 and so on to the upside. So yeah, nothing to do. We've done everything right at this point, so that's all good. We'll check on that intraday tomorrow. Yesterday, with Enphase here, yesterday we called that little top in there. We don't have 5 waves down here. We've only got 3 waves down. This here, it's got a good enough length to be the A, the B and the C. It just doesn't count very well. It would be some sort of 1 and 2 in here, and the 3rd, the 4th and the 5th, I'd imagine. But we'll just see how that plays out and see if this retest here fails at that point. If you wanted to short that, you can short it under here for that. But yeah, that's the that's the correction at this point. Can I look at that as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and make one more new high here? I mean, if it ran away on me and I missed it and we got one move up here, I wouldn't worry about it, because it's got to come back after toying with those highs, so we'd pick it up on something like this here. So I'm aware that, you know, the countdown here could be wrong and we could have a low in place, but I'm not really getting 5 waves here. If it moved up here, then we could scratch our heads and see what's what with it. But yeah, we've just been mindful. We called the low in. We wanted to come up into this space here. We've done our best to figure it out. Let's just see how it sort of plays out, you know. I mean, Tesla's the other one that needs to come down here as well. So maybe, and I think some of the lithium stocks have got potential anyway, especially Chinese ones. One of the Chinese ones, the biggest one, $149 billion worth of stock company. Yeah, well, let's just see how it goes. I mean, this is a bit of a long trade setup, really. I'd be looking to go long at that point there. Anyway, let's see. It's doing all the right things, so we need to do all the right things. Tesla is the other one here that we were looking at. We're looking at this as wave 3 here, with an A wave here, the B wave here, and we're counting our 5 waves up here. And I'm happy to say I can see 5 waves here if I can just label those to make this. That's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. You can start to see that reasonably clearly. And oops, daisy. So yeah, I don't know if that's I mean, I know it's the 5th, but I don't know if that's the low there. But the thing here is that because we've got 5 waves here, somewhere soon we'll get the ABC pattern and we'll get another 5 down. So this one's probably worth shorting at that point. So we'll just give that a bit of a green thing. Now we're trading against the trend. So if we're trading against the trend, that means we need to start off with less money. So because there's higher risk of trading against the trend. So, but that's the entry, and And the next trade that comes in here, if this is, if it could be an A and a B and a C wave here, and then come back up here and continue to the upside, and I've made yet another mistake. But otherwise, the other place to add to this is to wait for this to have its 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. If it gets 5 waves, then we're going to see an ABC coming back again, and we can short the 61.8% from here to wherever that is in here, and then look to add on this side over here for that. So we need that larger 5 waves down. Because we've got 5 waves here, you can also, sorry, I didn't mention this, but this block or this block up here will be also a place to short. Now, obviously, if you trade 10 shares, then just put in 1 or 2 here, and the same here as well, and then we'll look to build it over this side over here. So that's Tesla. And now Google. So Google is really quite here down on its lows, but it is giving us a bit of a 5 wave move to the upside here. But it as calling the low in here as here from this top here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, then that's a little bit the other side to this here, as I've pointed out before, from the top here, we can look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 here. Makes a nice wave 4, like wave B and wave 4 can be complicated, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can give us 5 waves down here. So we could actually be looking at an A wave down here, and then an A, B, C for the B wave here. If we just go to the 50K here for the bearish count with this, not 50 ticks, 50K. I thought that was a bit different down here. So we could look at this from the top here as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. I mean, it's quite a nice 5 waves. I mean, this little spiky business here is a bit problematic because it happened so quick. It was just on earnings. So just because it took a day or so, or just one day, really, it's kind of like, well, it's not a lot of traffic, So I take those sorts of things with a bit of pinch of salt, really. But even if all of this here, the earnings didn't sort of play out, or perhaps we may have gotten 5 waves down to here anyway, do you know what I mean? And still 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. But here we could look at this as the A wave here, the A, the B, and the C wave here, but we'd still get 5 waves up here in that case. So to look at this as wave 1 and 2 where I've had it is also just a little bit of a long shot, because it makes wave 2 really big, and it's doable, but it does raise flags, but anyway, we'll just when we don't know what the bigger picture is, we'll just track the intraday and duck and dive and weave and do all those sort of things. So it does appear that we're getting an impulse wave off the low here, so we're going to have a look at the 1K tick and then the 100. So this is our 5 waves to the upside here. Now, I know that we could look at wave 1 and wave 4 sort of butting up there, but I have to say, in terms, that's something that you'll learn with the trading levels. And the trading levels, they just really bring your attention to the price much more. That's all. That's the trick behind them. And then you start to notice things, because professional traders will say it's all in the price, whatever that means. But then you start to learn something, about the patterns and the price here, and different numbers, they've got their pecking order. So, yeah, I mean, in very simple terms, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's all kind of good at this point. We've come off the top here, so that's good. We're in some sort of corrective pullback here, so we'll just run with that and chill on that. So on the 100 ticks here, this was another one from yesterday as well. The Alphabet, the Amazon, and the Microsoft had a lot of volatility here, so it was a little bit tricky to pinpoint the top, but we could have looked, we mentioned that we could either have this as a top or we're going to get one more top or something like that. I can't exactly remember, but I mean, the thing here now is we can see that well, I mean, I can see 5 waves here if we look closely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we've got those 5 waves. So what if this is the A, the B, and the C wave up here for this? I mean, sometimes you've got to be careful because this 5-wave structure here could be the A wave, then the B wave here, and then this very small C wave here tucked in here. But I'm not going to go with anything at the moment. I mean, it's fantastic that it's got on the support here, but let's just assume for a moment that we're going to be working with that ABC pattern here for a little bit longer here. And the beauty about this is that, let's just say that this goes up here as a B wave and comes to the C wave. Well, then it'll leave this top here exposed for the long trade at that point. We'll see, it might become more bearish as well, so we won't be getting that. You know, it's not like when you do these sorts of things, you know, they may or may not occur. You know, don't look at it as being right or wrong and put pressure on yourself emotionally. I mean, the markets are emotional, you know, they're created by emotional beings anyway, but you need to reduce that. So looking at yourself as being right or wrong can be a bit hard on yourself. Things are tough enough as it is, so you need to put in a bit of self-love on these things. So that's that for the time being. We're just going to monitor that situation. Microsoft, it's also got a nice 5-wave structure up here and a nice ABC pattern here, and I have to say a damn fine impulse wave here as well. So when we go from, I mean, there'll be a bearish count as well. This is the bearish count. The bearish count here was the same as what we looked at with Google, where we have the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave up here. So a bigger move up as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll just see how we go with that. And you know, we're all the way along, I've been harping on about, we'll get the 5 waves up, we'll look for the ABC pattern, and then we'll try to build in over here. So still the same case. We're looking at the bullish weekly cycle, so that will leave Thursday hopefully shoring up here. We still need the A, the B, and the C here, so I won't go into a lot of detail here, but we will have a look at it on 100 ticks. So so yeah, this is all really quite nice. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, a bit dodgy in this move up here. This was, you know, this was one that we were also looking at yesterday, thinking, well, what the hell is that? You know, what does this mean here? You know, I still don't know what it means. But we're looking for, this was the high yesterday, or we were looking for one more high. So we've got that. I mean, can we look at it as an A and a B and a C over here, expanded flat? Well, we'll look tomorrow about that. But in this case here, it looks like quite a nice impulse wave to the downside. So we'll have some sort of 1 and 2 in here, and then 1 and 2 in here, probably 3, 4, 5 for the third, fourth, fifth here. So yeah, we're probably going into the B wave here at the moment. So that B wave here should be in 3 waves. So you can look to short it under here for that and move down here. Now, it could go much deeper, but there'll be, normally there's some sort of relationship between the length of wave A and wave C. So yeah, trading against the trend and trading in corrections, you need a skill set for that. So less is more. Old Bertie here fell out of bed, but the stochastics has come down quite sharp here, so putting it into that buying sort of thing here. We'll see how that bounces around a little bit. So we're looking at this a little bit differently with 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here. So we'll just see how this plays out. If this does come down here and takes this lower or does something weird here, then we'll have to go back and put wave 1 over here and look at it a little bit differently here at this. But we're looking for a setup, and we'll look for that on late Thursday and Friday. So I'll leave that there. And block, what we're going to do here is that this whole thing could be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, and it could make a new low from here. If we're going to look at it in bullish terms, it would be up for 1, back for 2. Pretty big wave 2, I have to say. But what we were looking at here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're looking for a top. We've probably got that top in. if you, we may just be looking at some sort of ABC pattern coming down here and then moving up at that point. But any rally off that, 72 there, is it? Yeah. So you could probably look for a short position under here. The same rally on the little B wave on the intraday, do that. Let's see how that sort of plays out. But I just want to wait. I want to wait for the move down here first. But like I mentioned, if we looked at this on, let's look at it on 10 ticks, shall we, just for the exercise. So there's there's the move down here. So there's no overlapping wave structures, so it's all pretty impulsive. I'll let you figure that out. But basically, we're just looking for some sort of little corrective move here and then down again. So a couple of things here. If, let's just assume for a moment, which, the dangers of that, if this market moves up here, right, then you'll have this low here. So the first thing you've got is to short that low. Now, it's never easy as that, because when the market does come down, it's going to bounce back off it anyway. Do you know what I mean? So you'll buy it and you'll get trapped. You could also look for this as the retested resistance coming down through here and retesting it and failing and then going down and doing it at that point. Or you could wait for the bounce, short the bounce, short it over here. Look, there are many roads to Rome. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you know what you're doing. That's the main thing, really. So, but yeah, this does look impulsive. So that means that shorting it under here would be the go for that. The banks, Bank of America here, we're looking at this. This is another nice impulse wave up here of 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I know it got spiky. I don't even know what that was all about. I didn't look. I haven't got time to look at news. So this here will be some type of correction. So we're going to be looking at this tomorrow, and then we'll need to start looking at a plan to see if we get that further upside there, or is this just going to fall out of bed and come down further at this point. So a little bit of work to do here, but we'll look at all of that tomorrow in a bit of detail. So Thursday and Friday will be more about the trade setups on the long side. Okay, well that's that. Sorry for such a long video, but hey, alrighty, cheers.